Theme of this conference being food is medicine, food is love. You might imagine we would have doctors and food lovers on the program. Well, our next presenter is both. Katz has a doctorate in neuroscience. She is also the founder of Cuisinicity.com, subtitled Love the Food That Loves You Back. So she is obviously a food lover. She is also the co-creator of Nutrition Detectives, which is a food label literacy program that is being used in thousands of schools around the world. Please welcome Dr. Katz.
Thank you. Wow, this music. Thank you so much for having me. Ken, I am so honored to be here. I'm actually a little intimidated because I'm not a chef and I'm not a nutrition expert. But I know a thing or two about loving food that loves you back. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about that. In my case, Cuisinicity and all the recipes that I've created have just been created in my kitchen, in the heart of my home, because that's where Cuisinicity was born. And I'll tell you a little bit about how it was born. My husband, Dr. David Katz, he is a world-renowned nutrition expert, and I'm sure a lot of you know him. He will be talking on Monday. And when we met eons ago, we were both at Yale. He was doing his preventive medicine residency, and I was a postdoc in neuroscience. And he was as passionate about health and nutrition as he is today. And in fact, when we met, we used to joke that if he had to eat gravel and tree bark to be healthy, he would. French foodie that I am, not so much. So you could just kind of have an idea of the kind of tension that there was between us, nutritious and delicious, and how we really had to make it work, because good food and good health should go together. And it was a real challenge, but a challenge that we met. We have 5 beautiful children, one of whom is here today, our eldest, Rebecca. Thank you so much for coming. And we met the challenge because nutritious and delicious should go together. By the time we have our 4th child, Natalia, the little one on the bottom right, I decided to stop doing research in neuroscience and stay at home. And so began my experimentation with recipes. And I think I used my scientific background to really change one variable at a time. The way you would in a lab to look at an outcome, I would change one nutritious ingredient at a time to look at the outcome being deliciousness in terms of flavor and texture and even appearance. And I did that one by one, really pushing the nutrition using wholesome ingredients, one recipe at a time, and always looking at the outcome, the deliciousness. And this happened for many years, many years. This is our family now. Rebecca is all the way to the left. And the baby that I was holding in my arms, Gabe, is now 6'1". So a lot of food, a lot of love, and a lot of loving food that has loved us back over all these years. And Cuisinicity, the name Cuisinicity, it really captured for us what it's about. It's about cuisine and simplicity. And the simplicity not just of the ease with which they had to come to life, because a busy household with 5 kids and dogs and fragmented day, it had to work, it had to be simple. But simplicity of the ingredients, simplicity, the authenticity of true food and wholesome ingredients, and always incorporating vegetables and fruit and whole grains, beans and legumes, especially lentils, and I'll get back to that. I love lentils, and nuts and seeds. And what's beautiful about this simple list of wholesome plant-based ingredients is that they really are the basis, the staples of a healthy diet, what really constitutes, what is optimal for our health. But what is also beautiful about them is that they are the core, the common ground across a diverse array of diets, from vegan to paleo. And that's beautiful because, as Burton talked about, we need diversity. We need to have all our tastes and our cultures, to come to life. And using these as a common ground is such an easy thing to do. And in my case, my favorite culture is my own, Mediterranean. I am French. I was born in North Africa and raised in the south of France, so on either side of the Mediterranean. And so no wonder I was taught the love of Mediterranean cuisine from my mom and my aunt. And to this day, when she comes to visit from France, we have lots of fun in the kitchen. And she calls me l'ouragan, like the hurricane, when I start creating, and we do that together. What I want to do is show you a few examples of the recipes that I've made, and at the end, make 2 demos for you. My walnut-crusted wild salmon. Hello, how simple is that? It's 2 ingredients. It's wild salmon and walnuts, and both of them such power couple, such a beautiful, nutritious ingredient, rich in omega-3 fatty acids. And I like to serve it on a bed of quinoa and lentils and mixed greens. Delicious. My Mediterranean couscous salad, really that encompasses every one of those wholesome ingredients that I talked about. The whole grains, the whole wheat couscous, beans, chickpeas, vegetables, lots of them, sunflower seeds even. And the dressing is made of the juice of an orange and a lemon and extra virgin olive oil, a little turmeric, both for the taste, the nutrition, and the color, the vibrant color. And what I love about this recipe is that I don't even cook the couscous. It's dry, it's raw, and it just absorbs in 10, 15 minutes all the dressing and all the flavors. And it never comes out clumpy. It's just a delight. And it's perfect on a hot summer day when you don't even feel like boiling water. Very easy and delicious. Fruit is a no-brainer, of course. I use it a lot. And this is just, just because it's such a feast of the eyes as well. And I love to use this fresh fruit trifle in the holidays on a buffet table. And it's just layers of white wine cake, little rum, little yogurt, lots of fruit. Beautiful. My flourless chocolate cake. This is my signature cake. I love it so because it is one of the creative ways that I've loved about Cuisinicity, where I can incorporate a nutritious ingredient in a place that you don't expect. In this case, I replaced the flour with pureed black beluga lentils. Who knew? I mean, lentils. And really, I call them humble because you don't know they're there. You don't even taste them, but they really impart their creaminess, and they let the dark chocolate speak for itself, and there's that molten center. I think you can tell. I hope the picture does it some justice because it is just as delicious as it looks, and certainly very nutritious. Protein, fiber. Who knew in a dessert you could do that? And of course, it fills you up on fewer calories because of the protein. My banana date bread I put there to remind myself to talk about, I never use refined flours. I use whole grain flours. In this case, though, in pastries, I like to use whole wheat pastry flour because it's lighter in texture and you don't want that heaviness in a pastry. It happens to be a vegan bread, so no eggs, no dairy, and no sugar. And this is why I wanted to put this here. No sugar because it didn't need it. The sweetness comes from the ripe bananas and the medjool dates. It's just perfectly sweet, so no added sugar. But I think that sugar should be put in its place. Dessert is one such place. I put it as little as I can, sometimes not at all. But that's where it belongs, and not, instead, you will not find it in my pantry in jars of marinara sauce and dressings and crackers, and all the places that you see in the food industry. You see added sugar where it doesn't need to be there, where it is hidden, and yet it adds up. It adds up both in the calories and the sugar that you don't need. And also it creates that sweet tooth that you don't need to have. And then you need the sugar that much more in desserts. You don't need all that added sugar. Put it in its place, and that's in the desserts. My nut lace cookies. I just had to put this here. I created this recipe last week, and I just love it. Aren't they beautiful? I just love them. It took me a long time to get them just right, but now that I do, they just come out perfect every time. I put this slide there because I wanted to talk, like Burton talked earlier, about sustainability a little bit. Because loving food that loves you back, it's not just about human health, it loves our planet back. Having more plant-based, wholesome foods is really important. And I've become more and more aware as Cuisinicity has evolved with the time. And I have to incorporate more and more vegan techniques. We do eat some poultry, we do eat seafood, but more and more we're incorporating plant-based protein and plant-based ingredients. So this one I just created, and I used aquafaba, the drain liquid from chickpeas, and it works. It works just like they said. And so it's aquafaba, ground hazelnuts, ground almonds, and all of 4 tablespoons of sugar for, I think it makes 2.5 dozen cookies. That's it. Very simple, beautiful, but really loving food that loves you and your planet back is important. And so now I move on to my little demo. I'm going to show you how I make my vegan burger. And I picked the vegan burger and this very different recipe, my crème au chocolat, also vegan. And the reason I did that, besides the fact that they're so delicious and they're very popular, at least among my family, my friends, and followers, they really are really a hit. But I chose them because they have a very interesting ingredient in common. I mentioned I love lentils. I love lentils. And the vegan burger has lentils, which is not too surprising in a burger. And I'll show you. And so does my crème au chocolat. Look at the 4th ingredient down. These, I should mention, my recipes are featured in naturallysavvy.com, a beautiful, organic, natural website, Canadian. And they make this beautiful infographic, which I think captures the simplicity and the sparsity of my ingredients. So I think I need somebody to move the table, and I'll go ahead and show you. I'm going to put on my Cuisinicity apron. Why not? Okay, so you guys are going to be able to see that. I'm so excited. Of course, I just live in my kitchen, so this is really very, very exciting. Okay, so let me start with the vegan burger. The reason why I wanted to use the vegan burger, I wanted to create a vegan burger. I had already created a turkey burger, and of course I had incorporated pureed lentils in them because I didn't want it to be dry. I wanted it to be moist, and it did just that. It was delicious. But as I said, I really wanted to move into the vegan cuisine, so I wanted to create a vegan burger. But French foodie that I am, it had to be just like I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to be a bean patty. Nothing wrong with bean patties, but I didn't want it to be a bean patty. I didn't want it to be a vegetable concoction that so much tasted like vegetables. I wanted it to be like a hamburger, a bite-into hamburger, but vegan, plant-based protein. And I did it. I think I did it. At least I hope you will agree with me, and you get to try it later. So let me just start. At first, I start with sauteed cremini mushrooms, diced, and then little crushed oats, rolled oats. And here are my beautiful pureed black lentils, which I puree with a little bit of olive oil, just a tablespoon of olive oil. I like to, again, because I'm a busy mom, not so much anymore because most of the kids are gone, but I'm used to being very, making it as simple as possible. I get it in a can, organic black lentils, but you can cook them yourselves. So black beluga lentils pureed with a little olive oil. Do you see all this? Are you? Wow, I'm impressed. Wow, this is really, really special. So I start mixing it, and then I'm going to add some, a little bit of seasonings, tomato paste, unsalted tomato paste. You don't need the salt there. I put it separately. A little Dijon mustard. I mean, really simple, but oh so delicious. A little onion powder. Yeah. A little onion powder, sorry for that. And garlic powder. And little salt. And the same thing, you know, I mentioned about the sugar being put in its place. Salt should be put in its place as well. There's salt in cereal and chocolate things. I mean, on the food shelf in the supermarket, you don't need the salt there. You can put that, use the ingredients that don't have the added salt where it doesn't need to be there, and put it where it belongs. Same thing as with the sugar. So mix that up. And to make it, and you will see, it's going to come together, to make it meaty and to kind of have that nutty texture, I love to use farro, cooked farro. Beautiful. I keep it whole to keep that bite into feeling. And this is when, you know, my background comes running. I mean, I don't know if it's okay as a chef to do this, but in my home, this is what I do. I have to dig my hands in there, and what happens, oh, this is beautiful. What happens is you get this beautiful, it almost feels like my turkey burgers in the, look at that. And then all I do is I like to use a big ice cream scooper and to really get it in there. And look, there we go. A beautiful little patty. It makes 4 patties. And I like to serve it just like that. I grill it with a little olive oil in a grill pan, and it stays. It doesn't come apart. And I like the fact that it's not flat. It's nice to bite into. But I also like to serve it with a little homemade barbecue sauce. Just wonderful, because you don't need all that added sugar and salt. You need a little bit of both, but not so much as there is in the industry. So let me move on to, I'm doing well on time, I think, but let me move on to my vegan crème au chocolat. And the nice thing about cooking vegan is that this is clean schmutz. So, okay. Is it okay if I do my, if I make my, I leave the blend over there, or do I have to bring it over here? Somebody? Oh, I'll try and we'll see. I just want to make sure you see it. Will you see the blender if I blend in here? Will you see the inside? Yeah? Okay, good. Okay, well, there you go. Crème au chocolat. Hello, I'm French. And I love a good, dense, dark, rich crème au chocolat. But a typical crème au chocolat requires dark chocolate, good, heavy cream, eggs, and sugar. I did away with the heavy cream, the eggs, and the sugar. How did I do that? And I don't even remember how I created this recipe, but I'm quite proud of it because it exemplifies nutritious and delicious and loving food that loves you back. At least I hope you will agree with me, because you're going to get to taste it afterwards. So I start with a little coconut milk. I don't love coconut milk because, it's not necessarily good for you. It's not bad for you, but it's, I just use it because I needed it. It doesn't actually, you don't taste it. I don't want this thing to taste like coconut. It's enough to make it creamy, not so much for you to taste it. Then I put my medjool dates. I love medjool dates. And here they look like there's a little too much water, so I'm going to not use all of that. But I put a little hot water in there so that they stay nice and not clumpy, because they're going to disappear. It's not going to taste like dates. Not that there's anything wrong with dates, but when you want a crème au chocolat, you want a crème au chocolat. So I am just going to make it my dates in there. Then tofu. Again, I'm just learning to be to cook more vegan, so I don't I'm not one of those, I just don't like tofu very much. I don't like the texture, but here you don't know it's there, and there's nothing wrong with tofu. I'm sure I will learn, but I have to learn. But meanwhile, I'm using it here, and again, great protein, wonderful, but you don't taste it. And I even put the water that's in there, the whole thing, just go out, the whole thing. And it looks like it's going to be disgusting, but if you trust me, it's going to be delicious. So again, the lentils, coconut milk. I don't use a defatted one, just a pure thing. And then silken tofu. And then my beloved black beluga lentils. You're thinking, what is she doing? But I'm going to show you the end result, and you're going to taste the end result, and it really is surprising. So there's my dark chocolate, the one ingredient that we all are, we agree, belongs in the dark chocolate crème au chocolat. And I like to use about 70% dark chocolate. You don't need any more than that. And all of the sugar that is in this crème comes from the dark chocolate that already has it, but that's it. I sweeten it a little bit more with the dates, and that's it. And I hope I know how to use this thing, because it looks a lot fancier than my house. Okay. Wow. This is, I hope, I'm not, ooh, yeah, you can tell. I mean, I probably should do it more than that, but I won't bore you. Can you see how creamy already it is? Can you see it? Yeah. And so what I do, and I'm not going to do it for here because it's going to be a mess, and I'm not called a hurricane for nothing in my own home. Literally, my aunt calls me l'ouragan because I just, things fly. But what I do is I make 10, so here's a finished product. How beautiful is that? But I make 10 little ramequins like that, little small ramequins. I fill 10 of them, and I bake it on a baking sheet in the oven for 15 minutes. You know, usually for crème au chocolat, you need a bain-marie, you know, the water that's boiling or not simmering underneath. No such thing, no such time. Just put it in the oven. It comes out just luscious, and as I said, it's just really beautiful, very creamy, and I just can't wait for you to try it, because you will not be able to taste the lentils or the tofu or even the coconut or the dates, just the chocolate and the creaminess. So that's it, I'm done. Did I just go?